My name is Leah Barton. I am a paralegal at a firm. We're a fairly small firm. It's called LaRusso Law Firm. We have kind of on average 8 attorneys. I am a paralegal there. Some of my responsibilities include researching different cases, preparing documents, drafting documents for attorneys to review, managing caseloads, making sure deadlines are on the calendar, filing different pleadings with the court, communicating with the courts, communicating with the clients, requesting and then reviewing different documents needed. It depends on what the specific case is. I always wanted to do something in the legal field. Growing up, my parents always told me I was very good at arguing. The first career path to come to mind when someone tells you that is always becoming a lawyer. When I was in college, I had a mentor that knew that, and that mentor knows my current boss now, and my current boss was looking for somebody to be a receptionist at his law firm. And so my mentor put my name in, and I started working at the firm as a receptionist. I've been there ever since. My law firm, it's kind of split into 2. There's 2 different sections. The first section is personal injury, and we specifically specialize in serious personal injury, so car accidents where you break a bone or require surgery. We have also done a few dog bite cases and any case where somebody is hurt due to the negligence of somebody else. And then the other side is our public safety side. This is a side that I work on, so we represent different public safety personnel, so that includes police officers, firefighters, sheriff's deputies. We get the occasional 911 operator. We represent them, number one, in their employment. So something kind of unique about public safety employees is that they have due process in their jobs. So Georgia is an employment at will state, but it basically means that you can be fired for anything as long as it doesn't violate your race, religion, things like that. But public safety employees get to process, which puts a few more limitations to that. They're disciplined or fired or anything, they do get to appeal that discipline. So we do a lot of those. That's probably the biggest category of cases. We also, police officers and firefighters are certified through the state. And if a police officer is disciplined or a firefighter is disciplined, it's reviewed by that licensing board, and we represent people through that investigation and discipline process. Also, if there's any criminal case that comes up stemming from the course and scope of their job. So if a police officer gets into a shooting, they have to go through a criminal investigation like anyone else, and we represent through that. There's always something new going on. Our clients are always bringing up some new case. Personally, I have a bachelor's degree from Kennesaw State in sociology, and then I also have a paralegal certificate from UGA. Technically, in Georgia, you don't need any education. Yeah, and then I've done a few other courses along the way. I don't know if I have just a typical day. I would say if there's big trial coming up or no big hearing coming up, it's a lot of just making sure. I am always going through different records. The Open Records Request Act in Georgia, where basically there's a whole list of records that governments have to release if you ask for them. So a big chunk of my job is requesting those records and then reviewing them. So typically I come in, see if any of the records I requested have come in, and if they have, I go through and make sure there's nothing crazy there. If there's any deadlines coming up, any deadlines for, filing pleadings with the court or filing different appeals, things like that. The biggest thing that I didn't even really expect going into the job is how much research it is, as specific to legal research. So there'll be a lot of times a question of law, and the attorney will know the answer, or at least know what they want to answer, but need the case law to back it up. So a lot of the times they'll give me a starting case, or they'll give me, hey, I know this was filed in such and such case, see what cases they cited to. Then you just kind of go down a rabbit hole, once you find one specific case law, it leads you to another, and then that leads you to another, and then it just keeps going back and forth. I find case law very interesting because it's always like built onto itself. So I support 4 attorneys. At times, all 4 of them need things all at once. My job is very deadline driven. There's typically always a deadline to something. So it makes it pretty easy if I'm given 4 tasks, which one has the quickest deadline, and then obviously do that one first. But if that's not the case and there is no deadlines, I typically just go with whatever task is the smallest and just knock it out and get it out of the way, and then, go down the line on what's going to take me the most amount of time. The attorneys that I work for are very understanding, and they all communicate with each other, so they all know what tasks each other are giving me. I enjoy working closely with all the attorneys. Some paralegals work completely remotely and have never met their attorney ever. So I do think our firm is very unique. I can be as involved as I want to. I mean, there's definitely like a baseline, a lot of the scheduling I'll have to call the clients for, or, little questions here and there. I'm not a lawyer. I can't give legal advice in any way. As far as like different meetings and prepping the clients, I can pretty much participate in the meeting if I want to, if I have time to, or if I have something else going on, I don't have to. Because there's always so much going on at one time. Stuff happens with the attorney that I don't hear about, or vice versa. Things will happen and the attorney doesn't know about it. And so just making sure there's constantly communication. Get to know people, but especially in the legal field, all of the attorneys know each other. Now I'm involved in the comp chamber, and I'll mention who I work for, and they're like, oh my gosh, I've known him since law school. I've known him, for 20 years. If you ever need anything, keeping up your reputation, it's always who you know, because who you know and who is backing you up goes a long way.